Do you struggle to process emotions? Does it often feel like you're drowning in emotions that you don't know how to unravel? Or do you detach yourself from your emotions, leaving you feeling numb? Do you want to make a change, but you don't know where to start? Today, I will be discussing with you a simple strategy that can hopefully help you process your emotions, redirect harmful coping mechanisms, and really chip away at those deep ingrained insecurities that you just can't seem to suppress. It is a 4-step process called F.A.R.T, or F.A.R.T. For more on how this process got that humorous name, and for a more detailed rundown of what each of these steps encompass, check out our first video, Intro to Finding Your Internal Symphony. As a quick rundown of the steps, F stands for focus. This step is where we acknowledge our change in mood and try to pick up on what behaviors we can use to catch our attention and be more mindful of this change in the future. A stands for accept. Accept is the step where we learn to let go of guilt and shame and replace it with self-compassion and forgiveness. This is also the step where we accept what is and is out of our control. R stands for reflect. And this step we begin unraveling the layers and learning to disconnect our thoughts from our emotions and intentions. This is where we also sort through any preconceived beliefs that we have about ourselves or the world that may be harming us. And T is for take action. This is a step where we take what we've learned about ourselves in the reflect step and figure out what habits we can try or steps we can take to help us begin to release and process these burdening feelings and emotions. After hearing all of this, I understand you may be feeling hesitant or afraid. That's okay. Of course you are. I'm asking you to face these emotions, beliefs, and thoughts that you've been purposely suppressing and avoiding. I understand that it is scary, but know that this 4-step tool is meant to be as easy and as effortless as possible. We all often fear the things that we can't control. Unfortunately, the truth about life is that the only thing that we can control is ourselves. When we get stuck in this vicious cycle of suppressing our emotions and becoming prisoner to them, then we begin to lose control of that one thing that we do have control over, ourselves. So no wonder we feel so overwhelmed and out of control. This is why we often seek control by suppressing our emotions. But the reason that doesn't work is that we're not actually getting rid of any of these burdened feelings, thoughts, or beliefs. When we avoid our emotions, it's more like we're just shoving all of our problems under our bed. And as you can imagine, eventually you're gonna run out of room. You can't just keep shoving things in there forever. The only solution is for us to go through that mess of clothes, trash, and old paper, and to sort through all that clutter and release ourselves of all of that unnecessary weight. You are the only one that can work on your mental health from the inside out. Now, I suggest that you go and check out my last video too, where I talk about some of the biological factors that also play a part in mental illness. Mental illness can be caused by so many factors beyond our experiences alone. So it is essential that when we treat mental illness and we try to improve our mental health, that we are doing that not only by treating our mind, but also our body. So if you're ready to learn how to declutter your mind, process those difficult emotions, and regain control back over yourself, let's get started. When learning any new skill, it's important that you start slow and treat yourself with plenty of compassion and forgiveness, as you will learn at your own pace. So, we're going to start simple. Think back to when you caught a flu or a cold as a kid. You probably went through this process unknowingly. You focused and acknowledged when you began to feel signs of sickness, like a cough or an upset stomach. You accepted when you were sick and let go of any guilt, knowing that it was something that was out of your control. You reflected on where you may have gotten this from. Maybe it was at school, where you shared pencils with your sneezing classmate. And then you took action, helping your body to heal by resting, eating easy to digest foods, and reducing stress. Now, I want you to try this exercise with something that happened to you recently. Feel free to take out a piece of paper or device to write this down on. According to research, writing your thoughts down on something outside of yourself, such as a piece of paper, helps with regulating emotions, comprehension, and memorization. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, it is quite alright. Just continue to try to imagine this in your head. Pick something easy to start. Try to avoid any events that triggered a strong reaction in you. Start with something more minuscule. I want you to think of something someone commented on social media or said to you that made you feel insecure. Let's take the example that some stranger online said that your favorite movie, TV show, character, football team, etc. was horrible or stupid, and that anybody who liked it was wrong. First, let's focus on the physical and mental habits you may have been exhibiting that could have been signs of your change in mood. Did you feel angry? Did you feel like writing a comment back defending this thing you love? Do you feel the urge to text your friend who's also a fan of this thing to seek validation that this person's opinion is wrong? Do you notice you want to judge this person negatively? Or has your physical composure changed at all? Are you more tense now? Are you fidgeting with items around you? Do you feel insecure? Make note of any habits you may have been exhibiting, feelings, or thoughts that you may have had during that time. Now, of course, in this example, we know what the trigger is. But let's say that we didn't. Within this step of focus, we must also find the trigger and/or triggers that cause this change in mood. Over time, make sure that you're keeping a list of your common triggers, as knowing these can actually help stop the spiral of negative emotions before it starts up. Now, it's important to understand that biological triggers also exist for many people. So, if you can't find a situational trigger, it could be something biologically based. But for more information on that, check out my last video. Now we move on to accept. Our emotions, no matter what they are valid. So it's important that we start by reminding ourselves of that. One way you can start is by stating these affirmational phrases to yourself. I accept that no matter how I'm feeling, that my feelings are valid, so I don't deserve to feel guilty for them. I accept that I deserve to treat myself with compassion and forgiveness no matter the scenario. And I accept that it is unfair for me or anybody else to compare myself to others, as everyone has their own set of circumstances, experiences, and internal factors that has led them to where they are today. Then we will distinguish what we can and cannot control. Remember, all we can control is ourselves, our actions, and how we respond internally and externally to experiences. But in a situation like this, some things we can't control are the opinions of others, what others say, how others feel, and what others believe. It is important for us to let go of the things that we can't control and let go of the hold that it has over us. Sometimes affirmational phrases can be just as helpful for this as well. So some phrases that could help in a situation like this could be, others' opinions or judgments of me do not need to affect how I view myself, because I have the capability of knowing myself better than anyone. Unless something is proven with factual evidence, it is an opinion, which means that while it may feel true to others, it does not need to feel true to me. And I am allowed to have my own opinions, beliefs, and interests outside of anyone else's views. Now we must reflect. We know that we do not deserve to feel guilty or ashamed for our emotions, so that should hopefully help us now unravel these emotions a bit more so we can understand why this situation made us feel so much pain or insecurity. During this step, we want to evaluate these emotions outside of ourselves, almost like we're talking to a close friend. To do this, we can try playing the what-why game. This is a game where we continue asking ourselves why and what until we can't seem to ask it anymore. To play this game, it often helps to pretend like you're your own therapist. As our own therapist, no matter how you feel about yourself, process, or your findings, we want to enter this game with a very clinical, non-judgmental, understanding, problem-solving mindset. To start this game, we must first identify what emotion we are feeling the most in this moment. Here's an example of how this could look. What are you feeling right now? I'm feeling angry. Why do you feel angry? I'm angry because I feel strongly about this TV show. Why do you feel so strongly about this thing? It makes me happy. Why does it make you happy? I feel like I resonate with it. Why do you think you resonate with it? Because I feel like I relate to the main character and how they feel. What about what this person said made you feel personally attacked? It made me feel like they were insulting not only my taste, but part of my personality too. What did that make you feel? It made me feel rejected. Why do you believe you're having a difficult time disconnecting how others view you with how you view yourself? Because I don't like myself. I question my knowledge and intelligence to have opinions and make decisions. So I look to others to make me feel better. And we will stop the example there. But from there, you would continue playing the game until you found what experiences in your past led you to take on that misguided perception or belief that your value is determined by how others view you. What we are working on accomplishing here are two things. One, we want to learn more about ourselves, allowing ourselves to gain that understanding through our own perspective. And two, is we want to uncover those deeper insecurities, feelings, and experiences that continue to negatively shape the way that we view ourselves and our worth. Feelings like anger, jealousy, superiority, and frustration are almost always cover-ups for underlying emotions like shame, guilt, grief, fear, self-hatred, insecurity, helplessness, and hopelessness. We must uncover those base emotions to get to the bottom of what's really going on. Another strategy that might work is distinguishing your thoughts from your feelings and your intentions. You notice you may be feeling angry, anxious, insecure, and shame. Your thoughts may be more centered in your anger, thinking, how could a person make a comment like that? But your intentions may be to release those feelings of shame or insecurity by validating your opinion and in turn your personality. Now, there are many ways to reflect, but out of all of the steps, this is definitely the one that takes the most time and energy to figure out which strategy works best for you. For me, I feel like journaling works best for me. No prompt, just journaling in general, but feel free to experiment. Finally, we reached the last step, take action. Using the insight we learned about ourselves and how we perceive ourselves, we can now begin brainstorming possible beneficial strategies. In a situation like this, we can try several things. We could take the time to create personalized affirmational phrases to repeat to ourselves. That way, anytime we notice these distorted beliefs begin to rise, we can pull those into play. Some examples of that could be, I am free to have my own opinions even if it doesn't match up with others. I do not deserve to feel guilt or shame over something that makes me happy and fulfilled. I am not defined by how anyone else views me, even my closest loved ones, because I am the only one who has the ability to understand why I am who I am. My own belief that I'm incapable of having opinions or making decisions outside of others is not true. It is simply something my experiences growing up has taught me to believe. I have my own unique taste and personality, and I deserve to always respect and honor that. I do not need to be perfect by people's or society's standards to be valuable or worthy. And I am free to respect who I am even when others don't. Feel free to take any of those affirmations I just mentioned if you feel like you connected with them and that they helped you release that tension. You can also add in your own, create some of your own, print them out or write them down. That way, when you go back to those original tendencies that we found in the focus step, or you hear one of those original triggers we identified in the focus step, you can begin repeating these personalized phrases so that you can stop that spiral of negative emotions and beliefs before it starts to ramp up. If you're finding that you're feeling numb or disconnected, you can also try some grounding strategies. These involve reconnecting with sensory stimuli to help you remember that you're still within your body, you're still living in the present. This will help you reconnect back with your mind, body, and your emotions. Some examples of this could be feeling different objects around you, splashing cold water in your face, holding an ice cube, listening to music that helps you reconnect with how you're feeling in the moment, or, as strange as it sounds, walking barefoot in the grass. Fun fact that walking in the grass barefoot or earthing has shown through research to have major benefits for things like illness, inflammation, sleep issues, calming the nervous system, which is associated with things like anxiety or your fight or flight instincts, and much more. Now that we've finished this process in its long-term form, we can slowly work on trying to shrink it when these similar situations occur. So, the next time someone says something that makes you feel rejected based on your interests, you can acknowledge that trigger and then go straight to your coping mechanism of choice. So the next time someone says something mean about a favorite TV show of mine, I can just simply repeat to myself that I have my own unique taste and personality and that I deserve to respect and honor that. Or that I do not deserve to feel guilty for something that makes me feel happy and fulfilled. Through an understanding of ourselves and why we feel and act the way that we do, we can offer ourselves compassion, forgiveness, and respect, even when others don't, because we deserve that. As a final note, remember that growth is never linear, and improvement can often take repeating a process multiple times, and that's okay. Thank you for watching, and remember that it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, or where you're from. You deserve happiness and health.